Let's listen to apologist Sean McDowell.
Sean McDowell. You guys know that I have history with Sean. We were on the Unbelievable show together. We've done response videos back and forth with each other. We know Sean. And Sean loves TikTok. So apparently this is one of his TikTok videos. What Kyle just said, though, in case we missed it and I was talking over it, is that if we have one instance of a miracle, that's all we would need to override everything that Hume said, because they think that Hume said that no miracle has ever happened. And so they think that if they can identify one, that all of our arguments, circular arguments, fall apart. First of all, that's not what we're arguing. But second of all, this is delicious. I would love to hear what this verified miracle is.
1959, an 18-year-old woman lost her sight over a period of 3 months. In 1972, 13 years later, her husband prayed for her boldly over a 15-minute period. When he was done, she opened up her eyes and could see for the first time. Now, over 47 years later, she can still see. This story is documented in a peer-reviewed medical scientific journal. But it's only one example.
Okay. So you probably heard Sean talking there. Sean's TikTok was, of course, short, but he alluded the fact that he wrote about this in his blog. So, of course, as we all should do, source methodology people, we don't take TikTok at its word. We go and we want to find the source for that. So Sean mentioned his blog. So we go to the blog. The Blind Receive site, a peer-reviewed modern miracle. Wow. Peer-reviewed modern miracle. That's amazing. Blind Receive site. So we read through. Last summer, he's talking about some other miracles. But he sent me another modern miracle from Explore, a journal from Science and Healing. We'll come back to that. Because what I'm always looking for is the first link to, like, for any, if you're looking in USA Today or any kind of popular media that references a peer-reviewed article, don't even read the article, find the link, go to the article. That's what we're going to do. We're going to ignore Sean for now, what he was saying. Boom, let's find the article. Case report of instantaneous resolution of juvenile macular degeneration blindness after proximal intercessory prayer. So, those are a lot of big words. Basically, instantaneous resolution of juvenile macular degeneration means that someone was blind. From macular degeneration means that their eyes weren't working. And then proximal intercessory prayer means that close to the time that it happened, someone said a prayer for them. That's what proximal means, as opposed to physical, although they do speak about physical proximity as well as temporal proximity. Okay, cool. So this is a peer-reviewed, allegedly, paper. Okay, but then one of the things, I normally like to read the paper first. I don't necessarily want to commit a genetic fallacy of looking to see where it is, but well, suspect when someone says that a miracle is peer-reviewed. And I noticed that this journal is called Explore, and I've never heard of Explore before. So before I read the article, I just want to know exactly who it is that we're looking for. So I search for this Explore, and it's the full name of it is Explore, the Journal of Science and Healing. That's weird. Journal of Healing? Okay, but that's all fine. That's all good. That's a fine name for a medical journal. Explore, the Journal of Science and Healing, addresses the scientific principles behind and applications of evidence-based healing practices. Okay, from a wide variety of sources, including conventional, good, we like conventional medicine, alternative, okay, I guess it'd be good to have peer-reviewed studies of non-traditional medicine, cool, and cross-cultural medicine. Again, not to be too Western-centric. I know that there's a lot of remedies around the world, so okay, I'm going to keep an open mind here, but it's starting to sound a little woo-ish to me. It is an interdisciplinary journal that explores the healing arts, consciousness, spirituality. Spirituality is trigger there. Eco-environmental issues, and the basic science as to the fields relate to health. Okay, so it's a little sketchy, little sus, but not terrible. So not so terrible right now that I can dismiss anything that it says. But I'm not quite convinced yet, so let me look and see who's on the editorial board. I look up this executive leader here, Larry Dosey. I'm not going to show it all on screen, but of course, the first thing I do is I Google Larry Dosey. What do I find out? Larry Dosey is while he is an MD, he is also a faith healer. You know, the kind that where one leg is a little shorter than the other, and they pull on it, and then they make the legs match, or that they go around to churches and pray away things. The executive director of this peer-reviewed journal is a faith healer. That's not great. How about the editor-in-chief, Ben Quigler? Also an MD. Cool. What do we learn about Ben Quigler? Well, Ben, outside of his duties for the peer-reviewed journal, he's into hypnotherapy, acupuncture, and herbalism. Okay, those are not necessarily solid medical sciences, but fine. Like, I guess there might be merit to some of those, so good that you're studying them. Ben's not helping, but he's not hurting so much. And I'm not going to go through all these. They're all very similar, but I do want to highlight a particular one who used to be one of the heads, and he's now seems to be demoted, is Dean Radin, or Radin. I'm not sure how you say Dean's name. But Dean is a parapsychologist. Now, the most famous parapsychologist that I'm aware of is Peter Venkman from the Ghostbusters. And I was actually going to put up a quote, put up that clip where Venkman was holding up the cards with the circles and the squares and punishing some students another. But I was on Twitter today, and apparently Bill Murray is problematic. Bill Murray didn't have a great day, so I'm going to leave that clip for now. But having a parapsychologist who studies things like ESP, telepathy, psychokinesis, like basically moving things with your mind, that's who Dean Radin is. That's who's on the board of this peer-reviewed journal that has decided that this is a miracle worth documenting, and they've peer-reviewed it. All these people have got together and think that's okay. Sean, did you know this when you listed the article? A lot of these things aren't even, Christians don't buy a lot of this stuff. Did a little more searching on this magazine. There's a gentleman named David Gorski, who's also an MD, who goes around fighting a lot of pseudoscience in his day-to-day job. According to David, he called this publisher, he said it is a publisher of truly ridiculous studies and is a sham masquerading as a real scientific journal. Not great. Apparently, some of the articles that this journal has published include affirmation of homeopathy, consuming water and chocolate imbued with positive intent. Let me just pause there for a second. So what you do is you wish really hard positive thoughts into the chocolate and into the water, and then they study whether when people eat that water and chocolate that their life gets better than people who just eat regular water and chocolate that hasn't been sent good vibes. That was a study that they did. And turns out, yeah, definitely the good vibes make the chocolate make your life better, for sure. Some more articles that they've published. The truthfulness of mediums. Mediums as in like tarot card readers and that kind of stuff. How truthful they are. They have peer-reviewed articles on non-material neuroscience. I am very excited to forward that one along to Shannon. Basically, it's neuroscience, but not the brain. Neat. Reincarnation was apparently affirmed in one of their studies, and faith healing. No surprise, since their main guy was into faith healing. So these are all articles that are published by Explorer magazine. So this is exactly who Sean wants me to say. I should definitely take their word that this is a peer-reviewed miracle. Now, if we look at some of the case, so if you recall what Sean said, let me look at it. So, crazily enough, even though this was, let's take a look, This was published in February of 2020. The case that they're describing happened in someone born in 1960, and the alleged miracle happened in 1972. So for those of you doing math, 72 till 2000 till 2022, that's 50 years. So 50 years later, I guess this article was it was technically 49 years, I guess. No, it was 2020. So only 48 years after the miracle happened that we've decided to document it in the journal. So obviously we're going to have access to pretty great information here. So in 1971, and 1972, this woman was examined. And then in 1972, her husband prayed with her. And then while she was previously blind, she was able to suddenly see. And the article goes on to discuss all the medical records that they secured, and kudos to them for securing medical records prior to the miracle, and then for securing all the medical records that were available after the miracle. Let me tell you, without going into too much detail, there weren't much. There was little notes, there was scratch pad type things. This is the early 1970s, so obviously the kind of records that were being kept. And actually going back to 1959, not much there. But let me point you to what I found most interesting. They put together a little timeline here. You see if I can pull that up on the big screen. They have a timeline where in 1972 was the last time she was physically examined and was determined to still be legally blind. 1974, the box just below it here, I don't think you can see my cursor, is where the miracle happened. Now, notice that nothing happens and that they have no records from 1974 through to 2001. So in 1974, she was healed, but didn't go to any doctors, didn't take another eye exam, nothing. Until 2001, when she started having dry eyes and was examined for cataracts. And sure enough, in 2001, she was seeing, I know you can't see it here, but at a visual acuity of 2040. And actually, they say that back in 1974, their visual acuity would have been around 2100. So better than legally blind, but not much. So somewhere between 74 and 2001, her vision got better, but no one documented one thing about it. And yet I'm supposed to believe that what happened is that in 1974, her husband prayed and she instantly became better. I don't know how this is peer reviewed. I don't know how anyone can look at this and say, definitely confirmed, miracle happened. Again, what we've got is the story of the patient and what happened to them. We don't know. And maybe the patient was mistaken, and maybe the patient was lying. I don't know. You don't know. None of us know. If this is what counts as Sean's best, great, peer-reviewed miracle, color me unimpressed.